Hello and welcome to Bobo's Hobby. In this video I will show you how I work with LEDs to light up my space-locked terrain. This is how I'm doing it and my tips and tricks to make it as dead simple as possible and hopefully inspire some of you viewers to try this out for yourself. Let's go through the materials that I'm using to make these LED armatures. I'm using a battery pack scavenged off of these cheap light chained LEDs, a couple of batteries, some soldering lead or wire, a couple of resistors. I'm going to go through these in more extent later and on how and why I use them. And some wires, it doesn't matter what color they are, there's two different kinds works. And of course some LEDs. Use whatever color or size you want, it doesn't matter. These are red blinking, these are white flickering, it doesn't matter. Use whatever kind you want. These are all bought out of eBay, really cheap. I can recommend using one of these. You could use a knife to remove the plastic part of the cable, but these are really nice. And of course a soldering iron. And that's it for the electronic parts. First of all, I'm going to show you with this battery pack, you need to remove the plastic part of the wire to be able to solder it up. The easiest way to do it is to use one of these pliers. They are super simple and really easy to use, and you get a perfect result every time. They are though quite expensive, so if you don't have one, you could use a knife. Just put the knife where you want to cut the bee and roll the wire a bit, and then just peel it off, and it's good to go. To solder the wires to the LEDs, my preferred method is to make a little loop on the legs and then just twist in the wire. This is my preferred way, and the main reason is that it's not super fiddly when you solder it together. The wires are going to stay in place, and all you need to do is put it on an old piece of wood and apply the solder. And be sure to heat up the wire before applying the solder to avoid cold soldering. And it's important that you sit in a well-ventilated area or use a fan to blow away the fumes. Do not breathe them in, they're toxic. I always double check my soldering so that I won't run into trouble later on when putting it all together. Let's talk a little bit about resistors. I do get a lot of questions about them. If you don't add a resistor, the risk is that you're going to shorten the lifespan of the LEDs. That being said, I still have a lot of LED circuits without resistors that I've used for many years without burning them. Adding a resistor will dim the lights a bit depending on the value of the resistor, and that's a good thing, because otherwise the lights will be too strong and look out of scale. When building my LED armatures, with two LEDs I'm using around a 50 ohm resistor. I think that's the perfect amount to make it look in scale. And if you plan to add more lights, you should use a smaller value resistor. And adding them to the circuit is super easy, as they don't have a direction and you can put them before or after the LEDs. Here's a small example with 4 LEDs and 4 different value resistors, just to show you the dimming effect. So let's put it all together. I have a battery pack here that I've already soldered a resistor to, and I have a couple of LEDs that I've soldered some wires to. An important thing with LEDs is that they only let light through them in one direction. So if you hook them up wrong, they're not going to light up. So they have a different length of a leg. That's the way you can tell them apart. And to hook this chain up, all we need to do is connect all the colored wires like so. And this is a parallel chain, the easiest way to connect them. I use different color wire for the different length of the LEDs. That's only to help me to not mix them up later on. Now we can try out the battery pack to see what side we're gonna hook them up to. Yep, that's the one. That's it. This LED chain can be used to put in your terrain, dioramas or models. These LED armatures that I built for my Space Hawk are built with these components that I just showed you. I hope you liked this video and will try this out for yourself. And before you go, don't forget to smash that subscribe button below. Do it, and I'll see you next time.